We'll discuss about pointers in C++. Pointers in C++, which is very helpful in simplifying the complex task. So if you go through the meaning of it, then you'll understand the very purpose of the pointers. So pointer in C++ language is a variable. Hmm? The variable, and also now many times we also, what do? We act as a pointer as a human being. So when somebody wants you to do something, you will point to some other person, right? So that means what? I don't have that ability. Probably somebody else is having. So that particular person can do it. We point, right? So in the same way here, we know we use a pointer as a locator or an indicator to point to an address of a value. To point to an address of a value. Got it? So what do you mean by pointer? So you will be having some value onto a memory location, and you do not know where is the where particular value is stored. So in order to get the detail of that address, the pointers. The pointer will point to a address of a particular value. Okay. Now, the pointers, the usage of pointer, basically it uses two operators. One is called address operator to specify the address of the memory or address of a variable. We use ampersand symbol. And another operator is called indirection operator. So indirection operator basically it acts as a reference operator, or we can also say that it fetches the value. No, using this asterisk, we can fetch the value from a location where the pointer is being pointing. Okay, so the first operator is what? It's an ampersand operator. The second one is asterisk operator. The ampersand operator is called as address operator, whereas the asterisk symbol is used called indirection operator. Okay. Now, how to declare a pointer? How to declare a pointer? So pointer variables are declared like any other normal variable, isn't it? So how do you declare a normal variable? By specifying the data type followed by a variable name. Specifying data type followed by a variable name. That's how we declare a variable. And for an example, int x. So int is a data type and x is a variable. Got it. So only one difference that we use here is we place an asterisk between the data type and the variable name. So what do we do? If a pointer is going to be used to point to a variable of a particular data type, then we specify the data type asterisk and a variable of a pointer variable. Okay, so you can see that here it's given here. So declaration how? Int asterisk count ptr. Int asterisk count ptr. Now count ptr is going to be a pointer. Count ptr is going to be a pointer, and it's a good practice to use a name ptr for the pointers, so that it will be very easy to understand this particular variable is a pointer, and this pointer, okay, will be used to pointing the integer data values or integer values. Got it? So that's how it basically we declare the pointers. Okay. So now here, in order to give you a good understanding about the pointer, let us discuss this particular example given here. Let's see the working code also, and as we simulate it, then you can understand how it's going to function. Okay, now here, as usual, in the line number 1, we have a header file declaration. So our general practice is the first line to be a comment line. So I just write a comment line stating that it is a program for pointers. Program for pointers. Okay, and I save the program. Then line number 2, now it's going to have a header file. So this is one of the important header file for IO stream. So we use hash include IO stream. Line number 3, the ANSI C++ representation. So we have using namespace std. Then followed by this, as we are simply writing code to check the functionality or semantics of the constructs, C++ constructs. So we are just managing with the main block. Okay. So main block is started from the line number 4. In the line number 5, the block, the mark of the start of the main block is marked here with the open brace. Then in line number 7, we can see that I have declared a variable of integer type x, and also it is initialized to store a value 500. Also it is initialized to store a 500. Then line number 8, what we have done here, you can see that we have declared a variable here, ptr1. It is by, since the asterisk is used, it's a pointer variable. So we use a variable called ptr1 as a pointer. As I told you, always either you prefix a suffix or somewhere you use the word ptr so that it will be easy to understand that you are using a particular pointer. Now the ptr1 will be used to point to the integer values. Okay, it is used to point to an integer values. Next, so the asterisk now in this it just serves as an indication. Got it? In the declaration place, when you use the asterisk, it serves as an indication, that is, it's a pointer variable. And in line number 9, what we have done, we have connected the ptr1 with the x, with them x. So generally, here we have assumed in line number 7, if you look into it, what we have assumed here, x is equal to 500. Got it? So, but when you go for this is at a high level implementation, it's a high level language. At a high level implementation, we can see that x is equal to 500. But when you look at the deep lower level, what you can see is you may not be able to see x. X is basically an integer data type, isn't it? So for integer data type, 32-bit memory area is required. Somewhere in a memory area, 32-bit you will be given, and the hexadecimal equivalent of or binary equivalent of 500 will be stored in that particular location. So x is just only for our understanding, it is going to be an integer data type and it's going to have some by 500. But as far as the computer is concerned, you will be having a memory area. In that memory area, 32-bit location is allocated. To the 32-bit location, that 500 binary value will be loaded. Okay. So now what will happen here? So we, by writing this line number 9, what do? We assign an address of x. We assign the address of x to the pointer 1. To the pointer 1. So this x, you can see that this ampersand means it is an address operator. It's an address operator. So what it will do, the pointer 1, now after giving this mapping or this connection, now what will happen? The ptr1 will start pointing to the value of x, not to the x. Please understand it. It's not going to point to the x. It's going to point to the value of x, because the value will be stored somewhere in the memory area. Okay. So ptr1 will be pointing to the value of x. So that address of that value is given to the ptr1. Address of that value is going to be given to the ptr1. And next you can see that here. Okay. So you can see that I'm using the indirection. Again, in another context, we are using the asterisk symbol. Okay. So what does it mean now here? In this context, it's going to be called as indirection operator. It's going to indirect the operation with what? We are going to access the particular memory location using the pointers. Using pointers. So if we look into it here, asterisk ptr1. Asterisk ptr1 means ptr1 is pointing to a particular memory area. So now whatever we are going to do, we are going to access that particular memory area. So what 11? So initially you can see that x is assigned with the value 500. Now I have assigned the value of x, the address of x to the ptr1. Now ptr1 is pointing to the place where the value of x is stored. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm going to assign a value 100. I'm going to load a value of value 100 into the place where the value of x was stored. Okay, so but still that place it's dedicated for x only. Now then what will happen? The pointer is pointing to x. Now x will get a new value that is called 100. And also I have used a few statements here, line number 12, 13 and 14. The line number 12 will print the PTR1 address itself. Okay, just for your understanding, I have used it here. Then line number 13, what it will do? It will show the value of PTR1 because we have used an indirection operator. Is the indirection operator. So from that pointer, it will take the value and that will be loaded onto the, that will be displayed on the screen. Then also we have shown the value of x because we should know that x value is loaded onto that particular location and no more it's called as a variable. It will be dealt in terms of addresses only. It will be dealt in terms of addresses. And using that address, we can either write the data into that particular location or we can retrieve the data from that particular location. And always these values and memory locations are interconnected to the actual variable. In this context, the actual variable is what? The x. Okay. Now let's run the program and check. So I'm just running the program. To run the program, so what will happen here? You can see that I'll put these windows side by side, understand it clearly. So this is another window. So I place it side by side. Okay. So I think okay, now it has come. So what will happen here? And we are printing the statement from line number 12, right? So what the first line number 12 is the PTR1. You can see that for the X, the memory was allocated, right? So that memory address is given to the PTR1. So we have attached to it. What is the value? 0x70FE04. In hexadecimal, the memory address is given. Then after what we have done, using pointers, we have changed the value of the x without specifying the x. Using pointer, we have changed the value of x. So now we have used a new value for x. That is the asterisk PTR is equal to PTR1 is equal to 100. In line number 11, you can see that. So that reflection is shown in the line number 13. So now it shows that the value from PTR1. So PTR is going to hold a only address. Got it? So from that address, what the value fetched is what? 100. And also you can see that the same is reflected to the variable in line number 14. The x is x. So in the PTR is pointing to the number 100. X is also will be having the value 100. Understand? So like this, by using the pointers, without knowing where the values are loaded, straight away we can access that particular value by either by writing the value into it or by reading the value from it. Okay. So always do remember that pointer will never store a value. Pointer will just only pointing. And the data, whatever the content in PTR1, the pointer will be only a address. Only a address. It never be a data. Okay. Hope you understood. Thank you.